What is going on, guys? Chris here, back again with another video for you guys today. In tonight's video, I want to talk about how high the market is right now, whether it's going to continue, and I want to show you guys some ways I'm making coins in a market that is very high. I had a lot of complaints earlier today on stream talking about people just didn't know what to do with their coins because there was so much competition on trading and there was not many deals to be had, because in a market that is really high, it shows you that people are buying cards to use for teams, and you're not seeing as many things being sold off, so the deals might not be as, as frequent as they once were when the market was just an absolute shit show. So we're going to talk about that in tonight's video as well. I'm going to get into some of these like ones to watch cards, some team of the weeks, right, team week 4 predictions, all that kind of stuff we'll get into tonight's video. So before we get into it, if you guys can just drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So the first thing I want to show you, and just show you how high this market is, in index icons right now is currently 118 points. Now if you take a look at the daily graph, that is the highest it has been so far this year. We hit a 114.49 October 6th, and now we're up to 118.38. There's a lot of really high icons right now in the game. If you take a look at the popular page as well, almost every single card on this page is up in price in some capacity. Whether you're a Llorente, whether you're a one-swatch Depay, whether you're a Chuichamani card, David, Mendy, all of these guys are really up in price. And the number one question a lot of people keep asking me is this going to continue? Is this market rise, or is this just high market in general going to keep going? And in my opinion, there's really not much that EA is doing at the moment that is making the market drop, if that makes sense. Now, what they could do is they can throw a little wrench into the market. They can release a 25k pack tradable SBC at any time, right, to create supply on this game, because right now the gold card market's pretty healthy, considering how bad it has been up until this point, or at least up until like Saturday night. So, the out of pack inform market, that market is the safest to trade in, right? The icons, the out of pack informs, those type of cards are really safe to trade with right now. In my opinion, I actually flipped a really big icon earlier today on stream, and I'm kind of dipping my feet into that sort of trading, the 1 million plus icon market. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's more coins to be had in that market. People aren't as competitive with cards in that market either, because they're paying so much for an icon that it's a little scary to some people committing that many coins to one card. So you kind of have the benefit of these cards move a bit more, and also there's some really good deals to be had and some good coins to be made on them, and we'll talk about that kind of later on in the video. But here is Team Week 3. Now, if you didn't listen to me in yesterday's video, you could have got Suarez at 33.34. He's up to 30.5 now. I believe he's actually 39. David is 26. That card was, or he's 26.5. That card was like 23 yesterday. Foden is almost 115. That card was 97k when I was on this video last night. Son is up to almost 600k. And then you got some of these guys on the bottom here that are really getting some investing, right? Tonale, Chuichamani, right? I'm not even pronouncing this guy's name right, but those are the two cards that I would be really careful with. I'd be careful with this Team Week a little bit, and the reason why I'm saying that is because Team Week 2, it made sense why we saw such big rise in the market. They didn't have as much supply. This week, we do have those Team Week packs that everybody was getting for 8+ wins in Weekend League. And then you also had the red picks. So that is going to delve away from some of the demand that these cards may have out of packs. So just be very wary of that. If you are somebody that is making some good coins on these cards, you know my saying, take the coins when you see them. Yes, in hindsight, if these guys go up like 20k more each, you obviously wanted to just keep those cards to sell at that point, but that's hindsight, right? You're never going to be able to know if a card is going to go, 20k higher in price or not. So if you see the coins and, these guys rise a bit more today on Tuesday, I would maybe cash out, or at least wait till Wednesday, see where they're at on that day as well, because these guys are just trending upwards right now. But like I said, I'm just throwing that caution out there to you guys, because I know some of you bought in at 33.34 or 22.23 or even 97k. These cards are pretty in demand right now, but I think there's a lot of investors that are in this stuff, so just be very careful with that. Another thing I want to talk about, Team of the Week 4. Now, we showed you this yesterday, right? The prediction for the Team of the Week right? Mbappe, Sancho, Mahrez, Mane, Depay, Ferran Torres, Navas, and Robertson and Rafinha. Now, another name that got thrown in there today was Memphis Depay. So let me show you guys Memphis Depay's graph today and how you guys can trade throughout the game. Now, I should have been a little bit better with this. In my opinion, I should have advised this card. Personally, you know, like I said, hindsight, right? But they were playing Gibraltar. I knew they were going to run up the score, and I should have advised. I looked at Bergwijn, or whatever the right wing from the Dutch league is. But this card was an easy buy yesterday at like 130k. Yeah, 130 to 140. He went all the way up to 160 pre-game. And then he had a couple goals and a couple assists, and he went all the way up to 192k. I just think that this card is going to rise a bit further up. Same with a guy like Sancho as well. These are cards that aren't getting that much supply right now because, you know, EA is not throwing any packs out into the market. If I can look at the pie right here on the market, I just want to see where he's currently at because I think that these guys will inch up a little bit more going into a Wednesday when they potentially could be getting Team of the Week cards. Now, what I would like to mention when it comes to these ones to watch cards, a lot of people are going to ask me, when do I sell them? If you want the guaranteed coins, you take them before Wednesday when they get confirmed once in Team of the Week. Two reasons why this is the case. Number one, you run the risk of them not getting in Team of the Week and absolutely crashing in price because of that, right? There's no guarantee, and flipping predictions recently have been really off when it comes to Team of the Week. So, guys like Depay, guys like Sancho, players that EA might think, or not EA, but players that people think are going to be getting Team of the Weeks this Wednesday may not actually happen. So that's one reason why you should maybe take the coins beforehand, especially if you're making coins on that specific player. And then also, you have run the risk of overinvestment or a player just not meeting that much demand for the current price when he does get his upgrade. And most ones to watch cards normally do drop a little bit after they do get their upgraded cards. So just be careful with that. That's the trend that we've seen over the last couple of years in regards to the ones to watch market. There's rare occasions, right? If a card goes from like a 79 overall to an 82, or if he gets a +2 or 3 upgrade, then there's a case to me where that card actually goes higher. In a case like Depay, though, he's 200,000 coins, and I can't even see his inform being close to that. So I would just be very careful with a guy like Depay, very careful with a guy like Sancho in regards to their ones to watches. If you want the guarantee coins, like I said, take them before Wednesday. If not, if you want to gamble and you want to go against what I'm saying right now, that is totally fine. Make sure you guys are looking on Wednesday if they are in Team of the Week or not. So now let's get into what is going to happen, or like how to trade right now in the market. I was going to say another thing, but I'm actually going to go into how I'm trading. The way that I'm trading right now is high tier icons and the out of pack market. And I'm also looking at some of the lower tier stuff too. And I'll show you guys some of those little filters I've been rocking. So one filter that I've been using recently is 600k here to my budget, which is about 2 million. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to 59 minute on stream, and I'm starting to learn the prices of these icons. So I'm going to go here 59 minute, and none are popped up. So I'm going to try to refresh the filter here. And you might have to refresh the filter when it comes to icon trading. I'm looking here 600k. Nothing too crazy. The icon market could be very dead right now. It is up a lot at the moment. Like I showed you, it's 118 points right now. Nothing is refreshing. But let me show you guys like my transfer targets, right? A lot of the cards on my transfer targets are icons, and that's the market that I'm moving into right now. So what you guys should be doing right now, if you have a high tier budget on this game, you should be learning icon prices, what they're selling for throughout the day. You should be continuously putting them on your transfer targets, and you should be looking at their graphs, and you should be looking at their market sales history. You can also use FUTWiz as well. They have a recently sales page, which shows you, pretty good prices of where they've been selling. Makes it a little bit easier for you. I'm looking at this like Fernando Torres, 1195, right? And I put a lot of these cards on my transfer targets because now I get to kind of go through them a little bit. And like earlier today, this 90 Butcher Gwenda popped up on my live stream with 2 days, 23 hours left, and there was a 400k card on the market. Not to say that I was ever going to win that card, but I did that because, I want to see if there's deals to be had. And that's why I put these cards on my transfer targets. I used to put these cards up on my concept page. I used to put concepts for these icon cards and I would just circle through them throughout the day, right? Instead of just going to the 59-minute, I would just circle through them. So put the money chance targets, start studying the prices on these cards, start studying where they're getting bought at, and then you'll know what to buy them at, because you'll know, okay, if I'm buying a card, or let's say a guy like, Drogba, he sells at like 795 to 800. I know that to get a decent deal on this card, I'm going to need at least 740, right? Because if you think about it, 740, you sell it back at like 799, you're looking at 59k before tax, and then the tax at 800k is about 40,000 coins. So on that Drogba, you're making 19,000 coins, and that's not a bad amount to make on a card like this. You prefer to make a little bit more, but 740 is probably the most you can get, or at least the minimum you should get when it comes to a guy like Drogba. So things like that is what I'd be doing with a higher budget. With a lower budget, I've been actually working around with this filter that I did not come up with personally. This is a filter that Flair was using on a live stream. Flair's a really good trader. What he was doing was 1,200 max price or 1,100, and then you put like your minimum buy now to 1,500, and then you put like your max buy now at like 9.5. And what you do with this is you go all the way to the 59-minute, and it's very competitive, this filter. Very, very, very competitive. But what you're looking at is cards that are popping up on this filter that have shadow cards on them. And this filter is really good because you're finding all of the cards that are popping up right away that are being undercutted, possibly. And if you take a look at these start prices, what we talk about a little bit sometimes on the stream is that when people put up cards for start prices, it means that they're putting cards up with a potential to get a deal on them, right? So if this guy's putting this Zaha up at 1,100 coins, that means he is allowing other people on this game to potentially get a deal on his card. That would insinuate that he is not very experienced with the market if he's doing that, okay? So because of that, you're working with a filter like this, and you're more than likely going to get a deal because you're working with people that are inexperienced with the market. So like there's a Sissoko there at 2,500. I sold that card earlier today at 3,000, right? And this filter requires you to know the sell prices on the on these cards, right? I'm going to adjust the price right there real quick, just because I don't feel like putting a bid up. What you're going to do though is you're going to make sure there's one card over the hourly or none, right? If you have two or more listed above the hourly on this filter, it doesn't work. You can't compare price on it. So make sure you guys are adjusting that if you're seeing some hiccups with this filter. But this filter requires you to know what they sell for with the chem style, like the shadow card applied to it. So just kind of keep that in mind, right? You need to know what to buy these cards for, and you need to know what to sell them for in order to do a filter like this. But that was something we experimented a little bit earlier today on stream. And then the last thing I'll be doing, and I kind of stress this a lot, is the SBC solution trading cards. Now, we were showing you guys earlier today on stream, guys like Kudela. Now, cards that have been rising the most recently have been the guys that are in the off nations. Not like your typical, France, Brazil, Argentina, England, all of those nations. The nations that have been doing the best have been like the Czech Republic, Danish, like players like that. Ukrainians were also pretty good, right? It's those off nations that have been getting into the SBC solution. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to, and I have an actual video on this, by the way. You go to active challenges, and I go to 7 league boots, which is in the hybrid leagues. So I'm going to all the way down here, hybrid leagues, and people have to get these 2 SBCs done in order to get the rare mega pack. And like I said, they're still doing that SBC. So I'm looking at the cheapest one that doesn't have a minus, and that's this one, right? Although there's loyalty in there. So I want to see the cheapest one with no loyalty. This one right here, 6,500. I'm going to take a look. Look, Sweden, right? Now, a couple cards that are pretty good. Janssen, very good card to trade with. Likes to fluctuate a little bit. I'm looking at this card right here. If you take a look at him on Sunday, right, he goes down to 400, back to 525. Didn't have as big of a rise there, but look at this. 450 to 675. 500 to 600, 500 to 700. And when he hits that low point of 450 or 500, you can get on bids at 350. You can get bid on 400, right? Little things like that you can do to make coins on this game, especially with a lower budget. If I'm looking maybe at like a Carlson here, right? Another card that I believe fluctuates a little bit. If I take a look at where he was on Sunday, 750 down to 400 all day. and then yesterday he went up to like 600. So there's a couple hundred coins to be made in each one of these cards if you guys take the time to know where these cards are going. It's just as simple as going through all these non-rares and seeing who spikes and who doesn't. And like I said, get on bids, snipe them as well. I made a good amount of coins off Kudella on stream today, just showing people, you know, how to trade with SBC solutions. If you want to know how to icon trade, if you guys want to know how to SBC solution trade, or even chem style trade, there's videos on my YouTube that show you that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.